For a lot of people, working from home was a pandemic phase. But for some of us, it became permanent. It became our lifestyle. When you first start working from home, it feels like a vacation. You wear sweatpants. You wake up 5 minutes before your first meeting, and you feel like you've hacked the system. But what happens when you do it for over 5 years? What happens to your mind, your wallet, and your social life when your living room becomes your permanent headquarters? Today, I want to share the unvarnished truth about prolonged working from home. I'm going to break down the incredible, life-changing benefits that have made me rethink my entire career path, but also the silent downsides that nobody warns you about, like why I sometimes feel like a disconnected retiree. Let's get into it. Let's start with the biggest win, and honestly, the one thing that makes it so hard to ever go back to an office: time. When you work a traditional job, you give the best hours of your day to your commute and your cubicle. But now, I get to be a present father. I get to spend actual quality time with my son the moment he comes home from school. I'm there to hear about his day right when it happens, not hours later when we are both exhausted. And when my workday ends, there's no mad dash to beat rush hour traffic. I just log off and immediately go fetch my daughter from school. It's given me a real taste of what a full-time dad journey looks like. My wife and I have realized just how much this reshapes the household dynamic. You stop fitting your family around your work schedule, and you start fitting your work around your family life. That is a kind of wealth you cannot put a price tag on. And speaking of time, let's talk about the commute or the lack of one. I do not miss taking public transport. I do not miss fighting through traffic or stressing out over finding a parking spot. My morning routine is entirely frictionless now. I wake up, wash up, bring my daughter to school, and the moment I walk back to my front door, I am ready to work. The amount of mental energy you save by not dealing with the daily transit grind is staggering. You start your workday with a full battery instead of feeling like you've already run a marathon just to get to your desk. Here is a benefit that surprised me. Prolonged WFH fundamentally changes your relationship with money and consumerism. Let's talk about the wardrobe. I haven't bought working clothes in a very long time. In fact, if I'm being completely honest, I probably can't even fit into a lot of my old tailored pants anymore. But it goes way deeper than just saving money on suits and dry cleaning. When you seldom see people in person, your desire to buy things just to impress others completely evaporates. The comparison culture dies. You aren't constantly looking at the watch the guy at the next desk is wearing or the car your boss drives. You are removed from the rat race of physical status symbols. It's incredibly freeing for your mind, and it naturally forces you to save money, because you're only buying what you actually value. But it's not all perfect. Let's talk about the downside. There is a dark side to this lifestyle, and it sneaks up on you. Sometimes, sitting alone in my house day after day, I feel like a retiree. I am completely detached from the physical heartbeat of a company. One of the things I actually miss the most is the physical touchpoint of colleagues. I miss the spontaneous venting. When a project goes wrong or a client is being unreasonable, you can't just walk over to the pantry, grab a coffee, and complain about it with your team. Sending a frustrated message on Teams or Slack just isn't the same as that shared human commiseration. You lose the camaraderie of being in the trenches together. Because of this isolation, I've noticed a shift in my personality. I have become much more introverted. When you go to an office, socializing is forced upon you. You exercise your social muscles every single day. Now, I only meet up with industry friends on occasion, and it's always highly structured, usually over a scheduled meal or a coffee. The spontaneous, everyday social friction is gone. If I don't actively force myself to make plans, I could easily go days without having a face-to-face conversation with an adult outside of my immediate family. You have to work twice as hard to maintain your professional network and your social skills. And finally, the ultimate hidden cost, the blurry boundary between life and work. Because your office is your home, you never truly leave work. The laptop is always sitting right there, staring at you. It takes a massive amount of self-discipline to close the screen at 5 or 6 p.m. and actually be mentally present. So, is prolonged working from home worth it? For me, the answer is still yes. The ability to watch my kids grow up close, the financial peace, and the freedom from the rat race outweigh the isolation. But it requires you to be incredibly intentional about your mental health and your social life. What about you? If you've been working from home for a while, do you feel like a retiree too? Do you miss the office complaints? Let me know in the comments below. Subscribe if you enjoyed this honest breakdown, and I'll see you in the next video.